Hi there, warriors. Welcome to the Uruguayan Heroes YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about Rodrigo Zalazar, a 26-year-old midfielder who's had a fantastic season for Braga and who will play his first World Cup for Uruguay this summer. It's actually 40 years after his dad played for Uruguay at the World Cup. Jose Luis Salazar, who was an attacking midfielder, scored many goals in La Liga, mainly for Albacete. He represented Uruguay at the 1986 World Cup. And now, 2026, Salazar will arrive for the World Cup as well, and hopefully will play an important role for Uruguay. Because this is a player, although he played in the first game of Bielsa's reign as Uruguay manager against Nicaragua and actually scored 2 goals, has not had a big role or a big influence to play in Bielsa's tenure so far. He's played a few games. He mainly played in the last four of the last 6 friendlies we played. He had minutes in these games at the end of 2025. And before that, he played a few minutes, had some substitute appearances in the qualifiers. But that's it. He only played 7 games for Uruguay in his Uruguay career and started only a few. So it's a big moment for him to be part of this World Cup squad, but he deserves it. He scored 23 goals for Braga, some of them, quite a few of them, penalties, but his game is like it goes beyond the goals. He is so complete. He's industrious. He's hardworking. He's physical. Has a great engine, but he also has the eye for the goal. Great from long distance with his shots. Has an eye for a pass, and he's just a complete package, and can play across the field as well. He can play central midfield. He can play left, right, even further up the wings. But he also can play up front in more of a free role in which he has played this season for Braga. So he's an ideal player to have in this World Cup squad. Um, and this is something that has been recognized by Sporting Club Portugal as well, who have signed him for 30 million euros, which is a huge fee when it comes to domestic transfers in Portugal. I actually felt a little bit not sad because I think Sporting is a great club and he's had a good history with Uruguayans in recent years. But I felt like maybe you should wait a little bit because I'm pretty sure clubs from bigger leagues will be looking at Salazar because he's in the prime of his career and he's only getting better. And the problems that have hindered him in the past, which were mainly the injuries, which has been a big role in his last season at Schalke, but also in his first 2 seasons at Braga, that has improved because last season he played a lot of games and had a huge impact for Braga, of course. Um, but let's get to the beginning of Salazar's career. Because Salazar is a player. I mean, he was born in Spain in Albacete, where his father Jose Luis was a big player for Albacete, the football club, and he played in the youth academy of Malaga. And eventually, he was signed by Eintracht Frankfurt when he was 90 years of age. And this was after he played for Uruguay in the Sudamericano, the under 20 South American Championship. And he was signed by Eintracht Frankfurt, but he never played a game for them, actually. He went out on loan to Poland, to Korona Kielce. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. Played a few games, also made some other headlines, which I will get to later. And then he went to the second division in Germany, also on loan from Eintracht. He played for St. Pauli, had a good season there, and Schalke then the next season got him on loan, and he once again really did well in that season and helped them promote to the Bundesliga, and that's why Schalke actually bought him from Eintracht Frankfurt, and we can look at a goal from him in that season. Hopefully the sound is off here. Maybe I'm gonna get copyrighted, but here, this is one of the goals. I think this is actually the goal in the championship game of Schalke 04, when they kind of sealed their promotion to the Bundesliga. I mean, that was a great goal, obviously, but that's the highlight. But he had a great season then, and then Salazar or Schalke went up to the Bundesliga. He had a lot of injuries that season, but still in the games he did play, showed his quality. And Braga recognized that, and they bought him for I think it was like 5 or 6 million back then. And in that first season, he already made his impact at Braga, was vital in them winning a trophy. And yeah, it's kind of a steady progression in his career. So playing in the second league of Germany, being an important player for a big club like Schalke, bringing them back or helping him back up to the Bundesliga, then getting his move to a team like Braga, who were playing Champions League in its first season when he arrived there. And everything kind of went steadily, progressed step for step to become a better player, a more complete player. And then in the second season, he struggled majorly with injuries. And that's a problem that has been a problem for Salazar in his career, uh, unfortunately. And it's obviously been something that more Uruguayans like Josema Arajo have struggled with. So that's never nice to see. But in the second season, there was also another thing that kind of derailed that season, and that is he was linked with a move to Senate, and he actually was with Senate. I think with the club. I think they were somewhere away in the Middle East on training camp, and he was there. But eventually the move fell through, and he returned to Portugal, to Braga, and fortunately, that did happen. Fortunately, it fell through because if you go to Senate at that moment, which is a great move for someone like that, obviously, in terms of the financial gain it offers, but it will kind of derail and kind of stop your growth or progression as a player that is now actually 26 and has the world at his feet in terms of what he can achieve. So that move fell through. And then the season afterwards, which is the season we've just had, he actually took his game up to another level. Not only goal scoring wise, but just his influence. He's really a leader, a big player in that team, and one of the best players in that league. I mean, he was chosen in the team of the season, Salazar was. And that was deservedly so, because he had a great season. He also had some moments which he would not look back on very fondly because he missed the penalty in a cup final, and that final was eventually won by Victoria de Guimarães with Rodrigo Abascal, a Uruguayan playing for them. And then the semifinals of the Europa League, Braga were eventually knocked out in two legs. They lost the return leg 3-1 in Freiburg. And Salazar, actually missed a penalty in the home game for Braga, which they did win 2-1, but eventually they were knocked out. And obviously, these are things that will play in his mind probably, and he will feel bad about. But looking at his season in its totality, he's done very well. And he is a player that, I mean, we have Valverde, Darwin. These are obviously two of the stars Uruguay have, and most people will know them. And Salazar is someone, obviously, if you're Uruguayan or Uruguay fan, you obviously know about him. But to a wider audience, the World Cup fan, basically, he is more of an unknown quantity, and maybe he can surprise some people. So that's why I pick him as Uruguay's player to watch, or one of Uruguay's player to watch, because he has that quality to really, really impress in his World Cup and be one of the revelations to a wider audience. So yeah, he's had a great season for Braga, scored many goals, quite a few penalties to be honest, but also some great open play goals, of which this one is most probably my favorite. I mean, in a semi-final against Benfica of the Portuguese League Cup, running half the length of the pitch, and then having also the composure to get the finish there. It's one of his greatest goals of his career so far, for sure. This one, arriving in the box, having the composure and the quality to get the finisher, and then in that same game, I'm pretty sure he got the back heel assist. Boom! Like the Horta Salazar link up was fantastic. I mean, and for me, I mean, I'm not sure how we're gonna play. Obviously, that's difficult to say at this moment because Bielsa has his thoughts, and I'm not sure if Salazar is gonna have a prominent role. But for me, if we have Salazar in the right side of the midfield and Valverde further up on the right wing, because I don't think we have a right winger that is up to the quality that we need, as Valverde can play from the right wing and really have this freedom to do what as he pleases. If we have the right wing with Valverde and Salazar, I think that's gonna work brilliantly. So Valverde right wing, Salazar more at the right side of the midfield. I hope we're gonna see that, but I'm not sure. But let's see, let's see. So another thing here about Salazar, I mean, the quantity of goals that he got is special. He's one of only, I think it's seven here, yeah, seven to reach 20 goals or more in a single season over the past 20 years while playing in one of Europe's top six leagues. And I think Portugal is one of the top six. And when you look at it historically, they are in Europe. So yeah, Suarez, Cavani, Forlan, Stuani, Darwin, Javier Sevanton, never forget about that guy. Really decent, underrated Uruguayan player. And then Salazar. So that's something as well. So yeah, Salazar has had a terrific season. If you rank the seasons that every Uruguayan player in this squad has had, I think he's top three for sure, maybe even top two. So hopefully he can have his moment at the world stage to show everyone. And it's an interesting story, because he is someone, like I said earlier, who obviously has a dad, a famous dad who played for Uruguay, but he has not had his career handed to him. He was playing in youth football in Spain, decent youth academies, and then he was signed by Eintracht Frankfurt, but never played for them. Went out on loan in Poland, second division of Germany, and worked his way up to be the player he is and to be in a World Cup squad and playing for one of the biggest teams in Portugal right now. He's now 26-year-old in the prime of his career and wants or intends to make an impact for Uruguay and follow in the footsteps of what his dad did, play for Uruguay at the World Cup, and that's something incredible. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play for Uruguay, and I'm really hopeful that he can be a breakout star for us at the World Cup.